Hello there, guys and girls. This is the Prussian Prince, and I'm here to bring you March of the Eagles first look. So you can see that we are in the main menu of the game right now, and we have, obviously, in the top left corner of the screen, we have March of the Eagles version 1.0 and the checksum. They still have the checksum. In the top right, we can see that the game has been developed by Paradox Development Studio and also published by Paradox Interactive. Bottom left, we have the engine that they're using, Clausewitz. It's the engine they've been using for most of their recent games. We can see a map of Europe, of course. Pretty cool. And all the trees and terrain. We also have some options over here. Of course, this is how we're gonna play. Single player, multiplayer, tutorial, credits, options, and exit. We also have some social media icons over here. Assume this is home, this is Paradox Forum, Facebook, Twitter, and Encyclopedia or something. Not entirely sure what this one is. Well, let's just go from the last one to the first one in terms of buttons. So we have exit. Obviously, this is self-explanatory what it does. Then we have options. Over here we have game. You have autosave interval. We already know about this. Language, you weren't able to change it in game before. You had to edit the settings file, so this is cool. Now I have shortcut tooltip. I want that on. Hints and advanced hints. Now in March of the Eagles, they're using a new hint system, and basically advanced hints are obviously more advanced hints and are more helpful, and it helps out quite a lot. And it's the new hint system. Before, they just had hints every time you went into a window or something, but now you get hints for something more specific. Now let's move on to video. This is, of course, nothing new here, just resolution, refresh rate, which I believe has a little bug over here in terms of display. When I check the settings file, it's actually 60 Hz, but in game it shows 50. Multi-sample level, don't really care about this too much, so I left it at 0. Gamma is default, trees are on. For audio, obviously I turned off the music volume because, I don't know, just in case there's some sort of copyright like there was for Hearts of Iron 3 in the Victoria screen, I believe. Just turn it off. Of course, volume and master volume is a little bit down, effect volume up for the purposes of this. Scroll speed is by default in the center over here, but I put it all the way there. Zoom speed, I don't really care too much about that. Let's just go back, and we have credits. Have a few cool credits over here. Probably like you're not really gonna care about it too much. Then we have tutorial, structured in 6 stages: introduction, command, recruit, control, victory, and war. We shall do that later. And also multiplayer. Now for multiplayer, you simply choose a player name over here. This is the same as previous Paradox Grand Strategy titles. If you click host, you will host not just the LAN game, but also an internet game at the same time. So if you're on LAN, people will be able to find your game here by clicking scan. And by clicking join internet game, they will have to just put in your IP address over here, and then you'll be able to join their game. As well as the meta server, you have to put in your username here and your password, and it's a pretty cool matchmaking service. But I don't personally use meta server because I just generally play via IP, because it does take a little bit longer to set this up, and since I have a static IP, I don't really need to use the meta server. But let's delve into what probably most of you are interested about, how the gameplay actually is. So let's click single player. Now we see a map, pretty cool looking. We have on the top left of the screen, we have bookmarks and saved games. This is obviously the grand campaign, and this is only one start date that you can use right now. This may change with DLCs in the future, like maybe 1812. Or later starting dates. Definitely a possibility, but for now it's just the grand campaign. And in the top over here we have the world 1805 AD. Click on the map to select the nation. Obviously, we know what we have to do. And at the top right of the screen, we have some info about our nation, just some general basic info. Have our nation over here, the name of our nation, what status it has. It can either be a major power or a minor power. Then we have the form of government and its effects, the ruler with administrative, diplomatic, and military skill. And all these stars they simply represent the skill rating that he has. For each star, that's 1 point. Then we have a difficulty, and normally, I would say that difficulty isn't usually representative in this game. In Paradox titles, unless it's a super minor nation, then it's really difficult as a minor nation to expand. But anyway, we also have some flags over here and some descriptions. A little description of the Grand Campaign, which we don't really want to look at right now, but let's just, for the purpose of this first look, we shall select France. It says you must select the country, but I have France selected. Wait, what's wrong with it? Let me click back. Click single player. Oh, I guess it was a little bug, but anyway. Yeah, this is 1.0, so bugs are obviously gonna be there, but probably not gonna be too many of them, since the game is basically a Napoleonic era time setting. It's just focuses a lot on war and less on economy and technology production. But that being said, the actual war aspect is pretty nicely represented in this game, from what I can tell. Let's just go onward and see what we can find. So as usual, we have a minimap here, bottom right screen. Have the map modes: terrain, political, diplomatic, dominance, culture, revolt, economy, manpower, fort level, supply. Then we also have right here ledger, which is, by the way, for checking out different statistics. Menu, find province, go to capital province, then zoom in, zoom out in case you don't have a mouse wheel. And also have a log over here, which we can open up by pressing the plus sign and closing it by pressing minus. We also have in the top right, 1st of January 1805, basically when the game starts. And over here we can see how time progresses for that current day. It goes by 2 hours, I believe. And we can make it faster or slower as usual. I believe max speed is 5. So just by clicking on this or pressing space, that's the hotkey, you can unpause or pause at will. We also have a cool outline over here. By pressing it, we will be able to see a lot of details, but normally you don't want to see all of this, so what you will do is you'll just right click on outliner, pull this a little bit to the left, and deselect cities, garrisons, supply area, recruiting brigades, land rally points, naval rally points. Well, actually, land rally points might be useful. Then we have armies, navies, naval combat. So yeah, basically this is decent. And we see all our armies and navies right now over here. Sometimes if you make this not show, make it hidden, and then show it again, they will rearrange themselves. But let's keep going with our little evaluation of the interface. So we have the top side of the screen, in the top left, we have our country's name, France. Then some more statistics over here. This is our resource pool. We have ducats, shows us our income, our expenses per month, and our net gain per month. And then we have prestige. Doesn't show us what's affected by it, but prestige is usually gained through events or winning wars or fighting battles. basically just positive things that you do. Then we have manpower, which is really important. You can see the modifiers here, how much we gain each month, our base value. And then we have diplomats, which are needed for certain diplomatic actions. And we also have war exhaustion, which is another feature, I believe, from Europa Universalis 3, and it's also in Victoria 2. Then we have the dominant countries. To become dominant in land or naval, you need at least 7 provinces of that respective type. So for example, I am the land dominant country because, victory conditions. Basically I have not only 7 but 8 victory conditions right now for land taken. And we also have naval dominance, and Great Britain is the current dominant power. So likely throughout the whole game France won't be able to challenge Britain for that, but who knows. Anyway, let's go to overview map mode. Oh, before we do that, we have some alerts that we can see over here. And depending on the situation that your nation finds itself in, you'll see different alerts. For now, we have countries at war, and it shows who we're at war with. The fact that our ports are blockaded, which is bad, but it's probably going to happen throughout the game because you can't really fight the British Navy with the French one, but this is not the point. And unemployed leaders. By clicking on it, we get to an army without leaders, or at least without 1 or 2 leaders. Then we have ideas, and I will explain this a little bit more in depth after. But for now, let's just go to overview. And here we will be able to see the dominance, naval provinces and land provinces, who they're held by. And by clicking this, we go to that specific province on the map, so pretty cool. And we actually, these dominance provinces they differ from nation to nation. So you won't see each nation having the same victory conditions. And obviously we see our government type here and our nation's name. And we have our ruler here, Napoleon I. This is a little avatar icon over here. Administration, diplomacy, and military. If you put your cursor over each of these stars, you will see what effects it has. Then we shall move on to decisions. We have 4 decisions available right now, but we can't really take them because we don't meet the conditions. And let's just go to victory conditions. Again, we see the provinces required for domination of land and naval. The ones with ships are for naval dominance. And we see who is closer to land domination. The second one. Oh, it looks like Russia has a good amount of land provinces. So it could get land domination, but we are still pretty far ahead. Then for naval dominance, we're just really terrible. And we also see most prestigious countries. Obviously Great Britain first, followed by us, and then Russia. Then let's go over to budget. We have income and expenses. You can see all the different modifiers here and here. Then the summary of income and summary of expenses, total summary. We also have military. And we can select and deselect these at will to make specific units that we want. And ideas. This is basically some sort of technology system from, well, not basically, but a different kind of technology system that Hearts of Iron 3, Crusader Kings 2, and Europa Universalis 3 used. But it's kind of like the way you advance your nation. But it's not technologically to say. It's not really technology, but you know what I mean. It's sort of like researching ideas to advance your nation's effectiveness. And all major nations have specific ideas just for them. Like over here we have French ideas. Then the other ones here are really anyone can get. And you also gain a set amount of idea points per month, so we get 15. Then if we go here, this is the diplomacy tab, where we see our enemies, our coalition members. And we also have, if we just click on a province and then click here, we'll be able to send to the diplomatic tab. We'll be able to call them to arms and do whatever else we want. But let's open up the outliner and select an army just to show you how complex this game is in terms of army selection and such. I mean army composition. So over here we have a relatively large army with 31k men. And we have all those leaders, right? They have maneuver, offensive, and defensive stats. You also see their morale here and how their front edge is, and also if it's well supplied or not. Over here, and attrition levels, also some other commands here which I'm not going to look into. We also have detailed view, and this is actually pretty important. This is how you organize your army, what you put on the left flank, center, right flank, and as reserves. And for different tactics, you need a different type of army composition. And by the way, you don't have army-wide tactics. You have just different tactic for the left flank, different tactic for center, right, and so on. And different leaders also affect things. And you can easily move them by pressing these options. I wish you could just drag them, because that would have been, I think, better to do and easier than just having to look if it's gonna go to where you want it to go. But I mean, it doesn't really matter that much. And what else do we have here? Oh yeah, I should show you the military tab, how units are actually made. I already showed you this a little bit, but we have war exhaustion, morale for our land units, navy, supply balance, naval maintenance, land maintenance. And by clicking one unit here, we can just basically select all these cities and provinces basically where we want to build those units. And if we have like land rally point like over here, and then we go to military tab and make a few units, and we click build selected, they'll all go to Paris, which is really cool, and they'll also merge together. Now the other thing is you can also have a naval rally point like here, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna use it, because obviously if you have a naval rally point, they'll just get slaughtered in case the enemy pays attention to what your fleet is doing, because they'll just pick your ships apart one by one. But I think this should be enough for now, guys. So if you want to see more, please comment, rate, and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. See you guys and girls next time. Hope you enjoyed this first look, and hope you watch my future March of the Eagles videos.